What doesn't feel very good right now is my football club, Manchester United. It's yes, there may be some light at the end of the tunnel with the Sir Jim coming in and Blanc and everything else. But there is talk that Ten Hag could be on his way out soon, which some would find great. But the managerial name that's being linked to come in and replace him is Graham Potter. Can anybody see any positives within that for Manchester United? I'll just throw it out open to the panel. If Ten Hag is sacked tomorrow and Graham Potter is appointed, how's that going to end for Man United?
Well, there's no positives for United, but there are so many positives for the rest of the league. We'd get to laugh and laugh again because that man couldn't handle it when he had an unlimited budget at Chelsea. Now he's going to go into a United situation where it's going to be run very differently. Maybe it's more of what he's used to, at Brighton, but how that'll work at a club the size of United remains to be seen. Ultimately, the CV isn't great. I think what he done at Brighton was quite overrated. I'll be honest. I think he gets a lot of praise, which probably isn't really supposed to be directed at him for that job. Went to Chelsea, decided to get a glow up by wearing turtlenecks like Pep. Didn't win a single game for ages. Sacked. And now apparently he can go to the pressure pool that is United, which has made some of the best managers of generations struggle under the heat, struggle under the atmosphere. And apparently he's going to ride out plain sailing with this Moneyball method that has never been tried at a club like United that is so ruined financially that it could be hard to initially set up anyway. I'd find it very funny if he went there. It would scream of mediocrity from these new owners. I don't think Ten Hag's done very well this year. I think this year the pressure's really got to him. As you can see by the way he's managed a lot of things, i.e. the Sancho thing, the Varane thing, etc. But he's still a much better man for the job than Graham Potter, whose CV probably still remains the highest achievement, being beaten Arsenal with some Swedish side. That isn't the next step forward.
You're kind of mocking it now. You're kind of mocking it.
What? Let's look at what he done at Brighton. He got 13th.
He played a very good brand of football.
Let's not do this very good brand of football. I've watched Burnley play a very good brand of football on the crap.
Is that at Brighton? Are we talking about his football at Brighton? Because Brighton is practically it runs by itself. All you need is somebody to oversee it, kind of. You don't really need somebody to came in there and say, "Oh, you know what? Let me add my bit."
Just look at what De Zerbi done. De Zerbi came in the moment he left, and they went up another level. And I still don't even think De Zerbi's been great this year.
No, he hasn't. But Potter laid the foundations as well. I think sometimes when we look back at things, you can kind of rewrite stuff and not do the guy. Yes, his tenure at Chelsea wasn't good, but let's not act like he wasn't tipped for the England job. And a lot of people wanted him to be the next England manager. Chelsea ruined him, but before that, he was considered a top manager. And
who was the competition for that England job? Sean Dyche.
Yeah, you are mocking it. You are mocking it now. Sean Dyche wasn't tipped.
I don't think he's mocking it, bro. But when you're speaking about Graham Potter, are we being serious here? We're talking about Graham Potter as this guy, who done all right job at Brighton. I don't think he did anything special at Brighton. He done an all right job at Brighton. Went to Chelsea, failed, and now they're talking about putting him in there. These players will eat this man alive if he goes in there. This is what I've said for years. United need a manager, and they had it with Mourinho until they got rid of him, who has complete and utter control of the club. Like City have got Pep and Liverpool have Klopp. Yeah, what they say goes. They had that man in Jose Mourinho, and then they didn't do what he wanted, and it all went south. They put these people in there, the Ragnicks, the Ollies, the Ten Hags. They do not have the stature within football to maintain that dressing room and to maintain the order. And these players, they do not respect the club, they do not respect the fans, and they do not respect the manager. And this is why whenever it starts to go a little bit south, they down tools and you get the same thing year in, year out. And I'm sorry, Graham Potter might go in there. He might do good for 6 months. He might do good for a year. But ultimately, when they hit a bit of a rough patch, which they will, because every manager will go through that, the players will look at the manager and go, who are you? What have you ever done in football? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to down tools.
Just go. Let's stop the revisionism on Potter real quick. I've just looked it up. The way he finished that season, 21, because he obviously didn't finish last season. 21-22 season was apparently the year that put Potter on the map. Do you know his team scored 42 goals and finished on 51 points, and they came 10th? But that's apparently enough now to get you the Chelsea job and be the leading man for United. He plays nice football. I've seen Championship sides play nice football. I've seen crap Premier League sides play nice football. You can play nice football, but that doesn't matter if you're not winning games. And that is the main thing of being a manager at a top club, winning games. There's a reason why some of the best managers for these top clubs have been defensive managers, pragmatic managers, whatever you want to brand them with, because they win football matches, which gives them more of a chance to win trophies. Potter at Chelsea was a car crash, and there can be external factors behind that. But let's not act like United's going to be, it's the perfect situation to walk into. It's arguably a worse state than Chelsea. So what? Yeah, how is he going to? What's the confidence come from to just go? Yeah.
Well, they did this with Ten Hag, though, Tom. They did this with Ten Hag. When they got Ten Hag, I had all these United fans in my chat saying, "Yeah, look at what he done in the Champions League. Look at what he done in the Champions League." So I looked at what he done in the Champions League. He done F all in the Champions League. He got to one semi-final, bottled it, by the way. If you looked at all the other Champions League campaigns, he done nothing. And again, you're going to get some United fans saying, Potter's the man, Potter's the man. He finished 15th, 16th, and 9th with Brighton. Is that really good enough to get this guy in charge? I don't think it is. I think this is the wrong move yet again.
Look, as a United fan, I completely agree. The one I did a video earlier on today about it. It's beyond the wrong move, in my opinion. I don't think we're ready to bring in a world-class manager. Some managers are world-class, but they need the team and the club in a position that's ready for them to start succeeding. Well, Jose Mourinho at his best was never renowned for building teams, as an example. We need to be aiming for somebody like Diego Simeone, who is a top-class manager with a great appetite, who has got a track record of helping a club rebuild, because we are 10 years in the mire. We are in the mess. And I keep saying this to Man United fans. If we hired Pep tomorrow, we wouldn't necessarily be winning the league straight away. It would still take a few years to build this squad and build things up. Graham Potter is completely and utterly the wrong person. Playing the devil's advocate and being the host of this show, I want to ask you this question. Have Man United fallen so far, though, that this is the best that we could expect? Have Man United become such a bad team that maybe, just maybe, this is the level that we can expect now as a football club? Or should the standard remain a lot higher? Because I've seen people say that, like, why should Man United get a world-class manager when they are what they are? They're an 8th place team who have not challenged for a league title in 10 years. What do you say? What do you say to that, Sard?
To be honest, I think you guys need a complete restart. It has to be a restart with a whole new system. You can't just bring a manager who's world class and expect him to just build the team again. I don't think it's going to work like that. It's going to probably work where you bring in a manager who's maybe has some ties similar to what we did. I think you guys need to do what we did with the club after Emery left and they brought in Arteta, which is get a manager in who has maybe played for the club or knows the standards where the club want to get to. Then you bring him in. He gets all not necessarily deadwood, because I still rate some of your players, although they might not be performing to their level at the moment. Get rid of these players that are just ruining the club and just absolutely messing everything up. Bring in maybe some young players, but you need to find the perfect balance, which I think
it has to be back.
We might have not done, but the new manager needs to be given at least some time. That's the only problem. That's the problem. That's the key word.
They went that way. They went that way with Ollie. They done the whole with Ollie. He brought in an old legend who got the fans on side.
Ollie, it's different, because the only thing I'll say with Ollie, it's different. The reason why, because the Glazers were still there at full effect. This is a new ownership. He's bringing a new. He's trying to take as much control as he can of the footballing aspect of the club. The Glazers can do whatever the hell they want commercially, bro. They can have the commercial side of the business. Do whatever you want. Make all the money you want. That's fine. You leave the footballing side of the business to me. I want to take care of the footballing aspect. So if they bring in a young manager, I feel like they can at least try and guide him in a way where you can improve the football while letting the Glazers do whatever they want until 2025. When
I get that, but United's in such a state in terms of the contracts that certain players have, the wages they're on. It is going to take a number of years to even get United into a position where these new owners can go, right, let's get a foundation to build off. There is no foundation for United to build off. We don't know what these owners want to do. If you're looking at a manager to take over United right now, and the best option is Graham Potter, honestly, there's just off the top of your head, there's Hansi Flick out there, there's Lopetegui out there.
The only thing that I would say is this. The only thing I disagree with what LB said. I agree with everything other than that we need to give a manager full control, because we actually do give managers full control. That's not how most other clubs operate. Not least the early days. The one thing I'm excited about is the idea of actually having a proper footballing director, people like Paul Mitchell running the recruitment, someone like Blanc actually running, somebody with football pedigree, football experience running those departments. This shouldn't be a manager project. This needs to be a club project where we pick the style of football we want to play, and then we hire head coaches to coach it. That way, if you're 6 months in and someone's died a death, you don't need to rip up the plan. You just change the head coach. 2 years in, a manager struggling, you rip up the plan. Because there's no way, in my opinion, when Pep eventually leaves City, when Liverpool eventually leaves Liverpool, that your clubs are going to completely change every facet of the way you operate to accommodate a new manager. It will be a new manager fitting into a system. Now, a system that exists at the club. Now, of course, managers like Pep and Klopp will bring and bring development to that club plan, but it remains a club plan that lives beyond any manager, and that's what we need to build. So I do agree with giving a manager time, but the reason why we've always stuck with managers longer than we should have done the last 10 years is because we put the whole project in their hands. LVG was putting up trees in the training ground, stopping players from meeting with certain other individuals, and was scouting for his style of football. 18 months later, we give it all to Jose Mourinho, who rips it all apart and starts his own thing. Then Ollie comes in and tries to do a really low-value version of what Fergie did. And now Ten Hag's come in. Again, it's all changed all over again. That's why we have a squad that is still to this day built up of 4 to 5 different managers' ideological view of how football should operate, with bankers setting the footballing precedent behind the scenes. It's crazy. So I do say this to Man United fans: expect and demand higher than Potter, but please get your heads out of the cloud when it comes to them thinking, just go and get me a man that can win now. It's going to be unlikely that anyone is going to come in and make us consistently challenge day one straight away. It's going to take time because we are a mess. And one of the big pieces of mess is at Man